Why, hello there, friends, family, and everybody in between. I am Dylan from Alternate Universes. I'm like mid-yawn because I stretched my back. And I'm bringing you another round of Modern from our weekly Modern event that we have every Monday night at Alternate Universes Blue Bell that starts at 7 p.m. You should come play with us. It's a great time, except for when there's a tornado watch and I have to move everyone to the basement at some point. But hey, it was an interesting week. On the left, we have Harley Smale playing Lonis combo, and on the right we have Chris Charity playing Amulet Titan. That's right, folks. We have creature combo deck versus my favorite deck in Magic, and it's gonna be a good old time. Now, the Lonis combo deck is a kind of a new combo deck that's been popping up more recently. Now, I say kind of because it has shown its face a couple other times in the last 2 years that Modern Horizons 2 has been out. It features Lonis Cryptozoologist, which is a simic creature, or Quandrix creature, if you follow the Strixhaven school of naming, that does some interesting things. It is strictly just blue and a green, and has a tap ability where you can sack X artifact, or you can sack, pretty sure it's just X artifact. Where the hell is this card? Alright. First off, whenever a non-token creature enters your battlefield under your control, you investigate, so you make a clue token. And then tap, sack, X clues. Target opponent reveals the top X cards of their library. You may put a non-land permanent with card mana value X or less from among them onto the battlefield under your control. Then that player puts the rest of them on the bottom of their library in any order. So, pretty cool. It's a 1-2. It's a Snake Elf Scout. It's a very interesting type line on that card. So we have that, and then you have some other cool stuff in the deck, like Cauldron Familiar as a win condition with Samwise McGee and Viscera Seer, Crystal Hungertide, Academy Manufacturer to make a crap ton of tokens, Chatterfang Squirrel General to make even more tokens, Court of Calling, Collected Company. They don't make tokens, but they find you things that can potentially make you tokens. And it's just a cool deck. There is a lot going on with it. If you like manipulating a lot of tokens on the board, doing a hell of a lot of things, this is probably the deck for you. If you enjoy GameActions.deck, this is very close to that. I think Glimpse is probably still GameActions.deck. We'll see what Harley thinks, as he's played both decks. But on his board currently, we have a Chatterfang, a Lonis, a Gilded Goose, a Squirrel token, a Clue token, Urza Saga, and 2 lands that aren't Urza Saga. Chris is doing Amulet things. See, in our Boreal Grazer making mana. I imagine there is 6 in the pool. If we are pacting for something.
You have 0 mana up because this can't tap.
There might be 3 in the pool. It might have been play bounce land, make blue green, play Grazer, blue floating, put the Growth Chamber back into play, pack for Zusa. Okay. So 4 additional mana, 6. We'll go and fetch, I'll say, Boris Garrison, Slayer Stronghold, give haste, vigilance, +2 to the Titan. Going to see an attack trigger. And then more than likely just getting a land here so he doesn't die to the Pact. Alright, gets a Gruul Turf. Going to pick up a Seiju with the bounce trigger. 8 damage coming in here. Harley most likely just going to take it down to 9.
Yeah. So you'll go to 9? Yeah, 9.
Now, Chatterfang has an interesting activated ability in this matchup. He actually can kill the Primeval Titan. If he gets to 6 squirrels, he can sack a... Or he can pay black mana, sack X squirrels, target creature gets +X, -X until end of turn. So, can instant speed interact with Primeval Titan? Urza Saga, popping here. Buy that, Boseiju.
I don't want that, I'm sorry. That's fine. I want that. Triggers.
Oh, okay. So wait, this triggers when no creature. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, you make
opts to not get a Temple Garden, gets a Dryad Arbor instead, which is pretty sure illegal. It's a forest, so why wouldn't you be able to get it? Which will create a trigger here for Lonis, which will then create a trigger for Shadowfang. Honestly, a pretty cool heads-up play to get the Dryad Arbor here off the Besage. Is now going to fetch a Gingerbread Cabin from Thornabell Drain. Part of the cycle with Dwarven Mine and Mystic Sanctuary. I think this one just makes a food token. Yeah, it makes a food token, which will make another squirrel.
Are you going to search again? Or should I? I'm not going to search. You have to cut.
Harley looked at me before the beginning of game 1 and was like, "You don't have enough. You don't have enough dice." Which he's right. We don't have enough dice to actually accommodate for this deck. I think we have 6 of the nice blocky dice. Certainly do not have enough. Collecting company resolving here. You see a Cauldron Familiar in the stack.
No way that's right. It might just be these.
Alright, decides to go double Cauldron Familiar.
So I'll take 2 triggers off these. I'm going to investigate twice, and then I'm going to make 2 scrolls.
Yes, so I'll be at 18 and you'll be at 10.
I will gain 2 life
I'm gonna get
up
my
to 10. Chris
swirls,
will
I'm gonna get-
be drained for 2, down to 18.
I have to read my own card.
Alright, they're going to give Lonis a read here. All 3 of us at that table have now read Lonis. I don't think I picked it up, but I definitely looked it up on TCG Player. I was sitting there. I was like, what the hell does this card actually do again? I was like, I know I own them in case I ever want to build this deck, but what?
Yeah, it's true, but so I don't get the trigger, but I get to start getting some cards. Is that my out here? Is I have to do that?
Alright, we'll sack the 4 clues here. We'll look at the top 4 cards of Chris's deck.
So top 4. 1, 2, 3.
Celestial Sanctuary, Amulet of Vigor, Dryad Elysian Grove, and a Forest.
Let's go on the bottom.
Bottom random order. Investigate. Can I get a squirrel? Sure.
Dryad immediately getting put into play.
And
Can Lotus take lands? Can you build your own Valka combo?
I'll pay for it.
No, can't take lands. What a shame. That would have been pretty neat.
Play Amulet.
Alright, the Goose gonna sack the food here.
black. Yep. Sick. I guess I
Probably
might
gonna
use
sack some
I'll
squirrel.
sack some
Debating on if he wants to kill the Azusa. Kills the Azusa instead of the Titan.
available. That's all.
Okay.
So
Chris most likely has red in his pool.
So I still have red floating.
Use the white to pay for the amulet. The deck doesn't really use either color that much more than another, but I feel like white is easier to make in the deck. Depending on how many copies of Celestial Sanctuary you're playing, your one of Gruul Turf is already in play, so you do have access to Valakut for other red mana. So, and you're most likely going to tutor for Valakut if you can put a Dryad on the board this turn.
so 5 in the pool.
I see a Titan in hand, Pacting. Has 5 mana currently in the pool.
Down to
Most likely getting Dryad in the Elysian Grove here.
floating and play a Dryad.
We'll cast that going down to 2 mana. Get another land drop going to 6.
Cast Rhinos.
Casting Primeval Titan. This one will go get Valakut and Valakut.
That card can attack. So I'll get 2 Valkets. Okay. And then I'll open combat. I'm gonna attack with Primetime Trigger.
Attack trigger from Primeval Titan will go get 2 more lands, most likely Vasuba plus something else. That is an interesting Urza Saga.
Deal 18 to you.
And we're going to copy the Valakut, and there will be 19 damage, or 18 damage going straight at Harley's face. That will be game 1 going to Chris. And we'll be right back with game 2 in just a second. It's going to cut, eventually. Could you imagine it just didn't cut? That would be crazy. And here we are in game 2 with Harley on the play. While Harley starts his turn, we're going to do, Overgrown Tomb into a Gildagoose. We're going to talk about the ad reads for the week, folks. As I very intelligently closed my ad read after round 1. I don't actually know why I did that. We have 2 things to talk about, one of which is happening this weekend. This is the weekend of August 12th. We are in August currently, depending on when you're watching this. If you're watching this past August 12th, I'm sorry, friend, you can't attend the event. We're having our Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings Modern Store Championships at all 3 of our locations. Saturday, August 12th, we're having it at Holmes in Wilmington. And on the 13th, which is a Sunday, we're having it at Alter Universe's Bluebell. Entry will be $15. Each player gets a full art promo gifted to Aetherborn for entering the event. Registration for the Holmes and Wilmington events both will open at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and the tournament will begin at 2 p.m. For Bluebell on Sunday, the registration opens at noon, and the tournament begins at 1. Prize-wise, we'll be adding $15 of store credit to the overall prize pool for each player who enters. When we reach 16 players, the top 8 players will win store credit prizes, and if we have 16 or fewer players, only the top 4 will get store credit. The top 8 in champions will still win their respective promos. And speaking of those respective promos, the top 8 promos this time around are foil, full art, Eidolon of the Great Rebels, plus another Eidolon of the Great Rebel with our store name on it. And the first place winner overall will get a foil promo, Saruman of many colors, plus another Saruman of many colors with our store name printed on it. Folks, if you are doing a complete master set of Lord of the Rings, you need this card. It is in the set list. It is, I believe, number 300, right after that Pro Tour Gandalf. And we can commiserate on that one because those things are like $1,000, quite literally. So yeah, that's happening this weekend. I recommend you go to the events. They're a great time. I attend almost every store championship that I can because it's just a fun time to try and win the stores. Win a promo with the store that I worked at named on it. And it's always a good time to play. I will be at the Bluebell one on Sunday. You can come play some Magic with me. Probably kick my butt. And then the other event I want to talk about is we're having a Modern 1K Plus on Saturday, August 19th at Alter Universe's Wilmington. The format will be modern. 1K Plus means that what we'll be doing is once we reach 34, if we reach 34 players, after that we'll be adding $30 of store credit to the prize pool for each additional player. For example, if we get 40 players total, we'll be adding $180 to the prize pool. Entry fee will be $30. Registration opens at 11 a.m. Tournament begins at noon. And the prize breakdown is available on our website, alternateu.com. There's not really too much outside of that. We will be following the modern ban list because it is a modern format tournament, which means you can cast your preordains as much as you want or as little as you want. There's nothing holding you back with that card specifically. I will not be able to attend this one, folks, but I hope to hear of a great turnout with a lot of great Magic being played that weekend. So let's get to the game. Chris has a Amulet in play. We're seeing a Selesnya Sanctuary into a copy of the One Ring. We're going to get a protection trigger. Now, of course, that trigger does not have to be acknowledged until it is first important to the game state. Kind of like Prowess. It's a little weird to me that that's how that works. I'm not a fan of those triggers, but that be the case. Now, Chris, tapping the ring to draw a card. The One Ring, fantastic card in Amulet. Some people might question how good it is. It's just a 4-mana fog. You draw a card. Now, there's a 4-mana fog that draws you 3 cards. And when you're playing a combo deck who sometimes is just missing 1, maybe 2 pieces, being able to dig deep into the deck and draw cards is so strong. It's so efficient. And honestly, buying yourself a turn with the fog can be pretty impactful too. The Titan Mirror has most likely gotten even weirder than it was before, and let me tell you, that mirror is not fun. I've played it way too many times, and I don't even know how to describe it. in safe for work ways.
I think I have to take that line of pass.
Also, one of the other cool interactions or pluses to the ring in this deck is, have you ever drawn 3 cards off of it and then cast Cultivator Colossus? If you like drawing cards, that is like the best feeling in the world. You just get to do the thing. Chris has a singular land in play. Now, we know he has more than a land because of Amulet, but it's kind of funny. Harley's got 5, but Chris has the highest mana value permanent in play.
Play the Microsoft Gardens. And then I'm going to go
Mike Within's Garden's coming into play here. This will become a second copy of Amulet at some point in time.
cord for 2. That's fine.
Harley will cord for 2. Potentially looking for a Samwise here. Yep, Samwise Scamgy. Because he's going to need to find a way to close out the game. Chris is accumulating cards in hand and is accumulating amulets. So without interaction or a way to close the game, it looks like the 2 ships passing night will go to Amulet.
Glittering Caves of Magma.
Alright, discarding a Gemstone Caverns or a Glittering Caves of something to the cleanup step. Now, if you don't know what Samwise does, Samwise is one of the cards from this set I was like the most excited to play, and then I built a deck with it. I was like, yeah, it's kind of mid. The card itself is fine, but the deck I built, I don't think it was good. But for green and white, you get a 2/2 legendary creature that says, whenever another non-token creature enters a battlefield under your control, create a food token. And then you can sacrifice 3 foods, return target historic card from your graveyard to your hand. Now, this combos with Viscera Seer and Cauldron Familiar to create an infinite loop that kills people through the ring. Because Cauldron Familiar says, when it enters a battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And you can sack a food to return Cauldron Familiar from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, Viscera Seer is your sack outlet to kill the cat. And scry 1.
Take 1 of each.
Pretty good.
I'm going to respond to the trigger. Sure.
Pretty good, fun interaction. 3-card combo.
Terrace under your manufacturer.
Going to cast Terrace Under here on an Academy Manufacturer.
Respond. I'm
Going to see Harley, I think, respond.
I'd like to pitch Arboreal Grazer.
Harley did respond by cracking the food. And then Chris going to Force of Vigor in response to kill the Springleaf Drum and the Manufacturer. Academy Manufacturer is an interesting card. We saw it pop up a lot with the
So blue in the pool.
Demir Asmo deck that took infinite turns because of Time Sieve and Academy Manufacturer. But if you are unfamiliar with this 3 CMC artifact creature, it is a 1/3 and non-legendary. If you would create a clue, food, or treasure token, you instead create 1 of each. So you make a lot of tokens, like a lot of tokens, and if you have multiple of them, it's multiplicative. So you get to do some fun math. I literally watched somebody, while playing the Asmo deck, pull out a separate pad of paper to do the math of 4 Academy Manufacturers on the board at the same time with Underworld Cookbook triggers. So, good old time. Ring, drawing 3 cards here.
I'm going to activate Microsoft Gardens, targeting Amulet. Yes, sir.
Microsynth becomes a copy of Amulet. Going to make 4 mana off a Simic Growth Chamber. We'll play our Boreal Grazer, going down to 3. Make 4 more. Going to 7 total mana.
I'm actually going to
I think opting to pick up the Forest here.
Sure, it'll be 7 total.
Yeah.
Wants to end his turn, potentially with more than 1 mana in play.
5 floating.
Also means he probably just has another bounce land. Currently 5 of the pool until he taps that Simic Growth Chamber.
Yeah. I'll have green floating and cast Rhinos.
Alright. Here comes Primeval Titan, 1 floating. If Harley is shields down, this is definitely the game.
Yep. I was going to go get just...
Chris could do it in a convoluted manner, but I'm pretty sure all he has to do is just get Boros Garrison Slayer Stronghold, activate it twice, and then attack with Vesuva. Yeah, and that's it. Chris, just showing the hand of Harley, showing that the lands that he needs to do the double strike kill are not in the deck, and we'll be taking the match 2-0. Thank you for watching, folks, and have a great rest of your day.